only. And speaking of Riot Games, let's do a little twirl around on this logo, give Papa a little bit of vertigo, and get this pick and ban started.
Spin our way into the pick ban, and yes, be a little bit careful about giving Papa the vertigo, especially today. We've got to be gentle, and Sandbox are following my advice. I look smart as the Rakan instantly taken away from Mud.
That's right, get the timestamp down. 5:05 p.m.
was
on this
when
particular
Atlas
day.
was smart.
Atlas looked smart. It'll be fleeting, don't worry. Just trust me on that, as Mada apparently is the one who's just, he's offended someone on the side of Sandbox because 2 bans already
Punished
at the
for being
quarterback
rank 1 at the end of the
SK
season.
Telecom T1. And will he be doing some fissuring, I wonder, as the Braum is a ban usually only when Orange support priority is high.
And Mada is also one of our on support players as well. Theoretically only alongside the Mordekaiser in the Awesome Dude meta, but certainly is still a thing that can happen. Is the Lucian going to be taken away from Teddy? He hasn't played it so far this season, but he's wanted to.
Yes.
It's just been banned all the time.
Yes, no prediction. Will we see the solo queue abuse duo of Mordekaiser Leona or Mordekaiser Ornn in LCK Spring 2019?
Oh god, I really hope so.
I think we get one game. There's so many. We play 18 best of 3s for everyone, so I hope we see some Mordekaiser, and I can complain about Drake control like I always do. See what SK Telecom wants to last ban here. They, like Griffin, haven't been as bound to banning the OPs, and they're going to target ban OnFleek's Camille. I like this because OnFleek, again, next to Canyon, has been outstanding.
An easy choice.
And now we got Flex Aatrox, so the cost is definitely going to be significant to SKT's draft.
Well, Galio, first opportunity for SKT to actually pick up this champion. They haven't played it so far in their first 4 games. They can lock it away if they want to. Akali also still available, and Chovy made that champion look about as OP as possible with a 4-level advantage over the jungle.
Still, if they lock in the Galio, I don't know if the Twitch chat can go for the new champion PogChamp for Faker because, he's played 4 games of Urgot this season and every other season for the last 2.
I want new Keystone PogChamp. I need new Keystone PogChamp.
Ooh.
Oh, he needs to just... I know he's been playing a lot of Urgot.
Jizuke-style Predator Galio?
I want something that isn't Aftershock or Spellbook. Give me something that isn't Aftershock or Spellbook, and I'll be very happy. But that is going to be the Thresh hovered here for Mada. Of course, very famous champion for him, but not going to happen. It's going to be the Ezreal locked away for Teddy. He's most played so far, and you can understand why.
Thresh first round, and I was going to get a little bit excited about a certain Kalista with some Nocturne bans being locked in at Faker's pick.
They could Kalista Thresh right now if they wanted to.
If the Thresh goes in first, the Kalista's not coming. So
yeah.
Kalista going to be on hold. Teddy's Kalista, which I know this doesn't sound big, but it's his highest win rate champion, and that was on Jin Air. So that's actually impressive that he has
they just
a 70% win rate on
Nocturne's
it.
Still available,
Yeah,
Papa.
this is a bold time to go the Kalista Thresh we were wondering about on red side.
Okay, well, Thresh and Kalista are locked in, and SKT not hovering the Nocturne just yet. You're mentioning the fact that that can be a real blocker to being able to pick up Kalista comfortably, but so far, I mean, always. Ghost has been a Kalista player. That has been his champion forever. Since he started in the LCK, certainly was. Jumping on it as often as he possibly could, but it's real scary.
Let's unpack it, though. Why Kalista Thresh first round in the second round of picks here for Sandbox Gaming on the blue side? How about this, Atlas? Alistair Rakan banned. If you don't take Tom Kench, certainly going to be banned. The support pool was starting to get smaller, and while Mada can play other picks, have SKT sprint match, because SKT to me have been the most inflexible. Faker's the only player to play 2 matches and only play 1 champion so far. So I think Sandbox just went for a value bet here and knew that either the worst case scenario was probably the Nocturne. They can ban away Nocturne. Would they be so bold to leave it open? Because Clid is a noted Nocturne player. The only advantage to leaving open Nocturne is if it is Aatrox jungle, it does give a big ability for OnFleek to play aggressively before Nocturne hits 6.
Yeah, and I want to go back to the stats page just a little bit here as well, because Sandbox known for having the highest damage per minute so far in the LCK, and that means they get started very, very early. Maybe they want to price SKT in to having more of that scaling jungler and just fight them as much as possible in the earliest stages of the game, because Aatrox can do that from almost any lane that he's in. OnFleek could also do it from the jungle. Lissandra going to be banned away here by SKT. 2 solo lane is taken away in the Lissandra and the Akali, just looking down the tier list and getting rid of the top spots.
SKT want to know where everyone is going when Mada has his choice of champion on red side, because Akali, Lissandra, some of the more flexible options available. Do note, a certain mid laner is open until now. Irelia actually made it all the way through to final ban in the second round. Irelia versus Galio is not the happiest lane for Irelia to get just slowed down so much that if the Galio roams come off, Irelia can be frustrated. So no Irelia. 3 Flex Assassins gone means Nocturne up. And surely Nocturne gleefully accepted by the side of SKT.
And also surely something Sandbox accepted would happen, right? Like, this can't be a surprise for them as the Nocturne is locked in, the bane of Kallista's existence, but Sandbox need to have some sort of idea. We know that their drafts are creative. Is it creative enough to stop this from being an absolute disaster?
And which flavor of mid lane champion into Galio, which for now can be flexed to top lane, will Sandbox take? Of course, in the LEC, we saw Vayne mid lane last year and this year. We're going to hold it for a moment. It's an on-fleek favorite. Not quite as Jax, but close. In his Olaf, looking to win the 2v2, and definitely a tale of two cities when it comes to Olaf and Nocturne in the first 6 levels. Ryze, interestingly, will be the final pick here. Just trying to farm, not beat Dove too much. Speaking of Dove in the mid lane plays Aatrox and Ryze. This matchup very well, and both these champions are quintessential Dove. So let's wait and see what his overall choice is. Can do a Fiora impression on the Aatrox mid, or try to farm it out as Ryze, but potentially die to ganks level 6. His final pick for SKT will be top lane, and I guess Victor's going to be farming it out for Khan in game number 1.
Yep, Khan played 2 games of it already, so more than happy to hop on this champion. He's had up and down performances, often being targeted by the enemy jungler, and now on fleek is on the Olaf. He has the ability to target anyone he wants. And we'll see what he's going to be able to get done here in the early game, because you have to imagine that this is what they wanted. They wanted to get on fleek on one of his favorite junglers who can get things done as early as level 2 and can try and smash Clid out of the water before that level 6 mark has been hit. But it's a huge gauntlet to throw against SKT.
But if I think back to Kesper Cup and Week 1 LCK combo drafts, you know, these on-point globals required Nocturne and Galio, they're losing more than they're winning because, of course, the early game is so highly prioritized. If you mess up the first ult, 7 turret plates with the enemy, and maybe the gold lead is snowballed too far. So I feel like the reliability of these comps is so much on execution more than before. When there's less gold, you fail one, maybe the next 2 come off and you're fine. You fail one, and then your lane's in resting state with your big globals on cooldown, get pushed in, and turret plates get cashed in. Maybe you never get a way back. So Sandbox Gaming, a lot of agency around their early game here. So their draft plan, who's to say it came to a T, but it looks pretty damn convincing for game number 1.
Yeah, and I like it in the early game, but I also like how it scales. It may not necessarily have the range that you'd want in a lot of these other comps, but the cohesiveness of these champions and the way that, you know, Ryze, of course, scales so incredibly well into the late game as far as his damage. Their damage threats are certainly high. They've got lots of CC, but can they actually withstand the triple global and all of the extra AoE damage that SKT is going to provide? That's the question on everyone's lips, because their composition looking much more 2019 than what Sandbox have put together.
Look at Olaf's KDA in the first 15 minutes. It will tell the tale of a Sandbox Gaming can take down SKT, or whether SK Telecom T1 can wait for their moment.
Fans still getting their voices in order here today, but good to see that Sandbox do come in with a few fans waiting in the wings. I just look at this composition, it makes me excited, Pop Smithy. Sandbox's comp just looks like a whole lot of fun. Imagine getting the Aatrox in there. Low ranges, yes, but the damage potential, the pick-off, and the complete chaos that they can provide in a team fight is going to be very, very fun to watch if they can get to that point.
And can SKT be better about turret diving Kallistas than we saw come out against Ghost last time? Remember, summoner spells on AD carries are not overlapping. Heal for Ghost. Not going to take teleport on Kallista, too risky.
Nope.
Teleport on the side of Teddy. No unsealed spellbook, no heal. Means the Sandbox Gaming, they think Olaf is going to be dictating to solo lanes. I tend to agree on that. And thus, they feel like Marta can get away with laning with no heal on the side of SKT.
Yeah, give the Guardian over as well just to make sure that that laning can be a little bit better. Allow Teddy to utilize the teleport a little bit more effectively there as well. But no heal could be a little bit dangerous as it's a solo start.
Clid is not subscribing to the meta that not everyone, again, this is actually not in agreement yet, but there was, of course, a lot of talk about Inspiration Second Futures Market on Warrior Enchant Champions. Clid, when I've looked at his solo queue, hasn't been going that route. Does go for the stopwatch here, which lets you know that, hey, turret dives are coming.
Yep.
We well knew that, and that is confirmed. So no mainlining of the Warrior super early, but it's Nocturne. We know a lot about how he works. Unless you're Tarzan and you pull off a level 3 turret dive like he did yesterday.
Yep. Is en route to get down there, but not sure whether he's actually going to go for it this time around. Scuttle Crab going to be taken by on fleek on the top side of the map. You can see Khan playing A little bit further back here, understanding that that level 2 mark is going to be scary. And speaking of scary, the playback onto Teddy, but he wants to take down Ghost, already down to under 200 health.
Very weird for Joker to choose to take that trade at level 1. Yes, you have the summoner advantage in combat summoners, but that was never going to be a trade up there. Joker does have the assistance here of the Kalista ultimate to get over some of his problems with accuracy on the death sentence when we've seen him on this champion earlier, but got to play your laning trades smarter, and that one was definitely a misfire from Sandbox Gaming Spotlight.
Yeah, and also playing against Teddy with the red pot as well that he's picked up from the Klepto, so just a whole lot of things not working out in favor of the Sandbox bottom lane. Olaf is making his way down towards this bottom side as the wave's being held onto pretty comfortably by SKT towards their side of the jungle, their side of the map. Which does make sense, considering the fact that they don't want to give Afreeca any opportunity to get a free gank.
And myself, Atlas, I'm so excited to see, can SKT pull off what they did in Game 1 of their last series against the Afreeca Freecs and the Camille jungle we saw come out from Dread. You remember, their early warding to shut down Camille was a work of art. They were so on point with lighting up the rift, specifically just above where Olaf is on the mini-map, the ward, to see the hook shot over the wall of that river brush. It was really poetry in motion when it comes to vision, and we haven't seen vision of that level from other teams so far in week 1 of the LCK. So you know what Afreeca's all about. It's tracking the enemy jungle and being aggressive, and so far Clid's staying away from him and getting his camps as well. Yeah,
Clid's actually having a great time. Now about to surpass him as far as taking those camps is concerned as he gets rid of this Krug camp, so not bad. Afreeca going to go back home, grab himself a couple of extra items, and the hook is going to land here on the bottom side of the map as Ghost trying to find some of the sticks to put into Marta's back. Ren's not going to be too much of a problem though. Ken's going to be okay as Clid looking for a bit of a lane gank here towards the top side.
Rise always wants to take those aggressive trades and then phase rush away. That could potentially be punished here. For now, at least, seems like more of a counter gank from Clid.
Yeah. But moving ever further forward, vision is around. You can imagine that Summit would feel pretty safe, knowing exactly where anyone coming from the river would be. Now has to be a little bit more careful. He's not going to bite off more than he can chew.
He's staying a long time here because there is no river vision at all on the side of SKT.
Yep, not gonna bite.
Sometimes you next level, sometimes there's no one there. It's just that phantom feeling that perhaps the counter gank is on. Afreeca will reveal his position by using the vision plant on the red side jungle here. He wants some raptors. We'll talk a lot about raptor control when we see our first Kane of the LCK, but Olaf, no slouch either.
Yep, not quite up to the Canes just yet here in the LCK. LPL a little bit further ahead of us on that particular pick. Very much Ning.
Still the best jungler in the world. 5 MVPs in a row. Tarzan, get on his level.
Oh, I know. It's depressing. Not even picking up 1 MVP yesterday, Foxmitty.
China always a step ahead so far recently, Atlas.
Yep, what happened to Griffin?
You know, we were there for it. It was sad. It was really sad. And then I cried about it on a Riot pregame, and here we are now. Let's fast forward to
all right.
Griffin looking pretty good, and Griffin no doubt watching on as SK Telecom T1, soon to be their opponents in a week's time, have a pretty tricky handful of an assignment here against a Sandbox team that, understandably, a lot of SKT-only fans would know nothing about.
Yeah. And after that trade that happened pretty horribly in the early game for Ghost and Joker, everything has equalized, 49-52, no worries there whatsoever. The teleport now on cooldown for Teddy. Ghost being able to go back pretty freely and get himself his Berserker's Greaves. Summit gets himself the passive shield. He's going to be able to win out that trade against Khan, but so far this top lane feels like a farm lane, and who's that actually working out for, Papa? If you're the Victor, are you happy to just go CS for CS against a Rise?
I think Rise gives you more in a team fight, reliably, but Victor with free farm is so useful for delaying games, and he provides wave clear alongside the Galio to delay things out, to allow Teddy to hit his 2-item power spike we love speaking about. So I think it's a little bit of a wash there, Atlas. I'm very interested to see the build here, because you could definitely go Adaptive Helm against double AP and all the Teddy burst on the Rise. You don't amp any of your allies' damage, but you become supremely tanky very early. A lot of options here for Summit. And if you scale next to an Ezreal, very hard to do it as well as the Prodigal Explorer, as Teddy just flies out Qs and knows that the good times are rolling in about 15 minutes.
Yep. Speaking of throwing out Qs, Joker continuing just to basically throw the death sentences off cooldown. Not getting punished for it too much so far in this early game. As Teddy's going to get pierced
Still on patch 9.1 today, guys. 9.2 just went live on the Korean server earlier today, so I don't know what that means about next week's patch. Chance we're on 9.2, chance we're on 9.1. But Kalista rework, well, at least the adjustment in this patch, a little bit stronger in the early game, much stronger in the early game, went away from the Thresh, the Oath Sworn of the Kalista. Otherwise, not as good at taking those Drakes as Sandbox found out in game number 1 last week.
Yep. Also, they just found out that hooking Teddy is not necessarily going to net them too much, as Marta can just gobble him up.
A lot of trolling going on with Thresh, Tahm Kench, Ezreal, and Kalista in the bot lane.
Yeah.
Gonna need that Galio Nocturne synergy. We haven't mentioned Nocturne much. He's a couple of camps behind the Olaf, but let's see if they can get the double control ward bot side we always talk about as the gold standard with a Galio draft, because playing to your control ward line usually suggests whether the top or the bot lane gank is coming from the first hero's entrance.
Yep, exactly. Still looking for Onfleek to actually make a move around here as well as Sandbox shove this way forward. We'll get up. Look for another back. Joker and Ghost both just going to go on home, get some more items.
Probably a Bilgewater timing here, you'll imagine, from the Kalista.
Yep.
Depends on gold values, and seems like for now that's not going to be... I actually saw a rejuve beat there. That's not what you want.
That's called the control ward misclick. Hate to see it.
Well, if that's Ghost's biggest mistake of game number 1, you know what?
Yeah,
I respect
ain't bad. Ain't bad. And Summit just going to come pick up this minion wave that's heading towards the top outer turret, and so far everything being very quiet. In vision, Marta going to go back home. Teddy without the teleport just yet. As here's the paranoia straight towards the top side, and that is just a dead rise. I spoke too soon. The action immediately followed.
Very squishy rise build. No health in the build. No catalyst that we were wondering we might see on the way to a Rod of Ages, or in fact, the adaptive helm, so the turret blades will roll in as well. And only a Mountain Drake as a consolation prize for Sandbox game.
Yeah, exactly. So Clid going to help out, grab himself 160 gold here off the back end, and Onfleek says, well, I got a dragon, I guess, but I'd take 2 turret plates and a kill that's first blood every day of the week.
Well, because you just return to the lane, and it's a squishy no-flash Rise who will die instantly to the next Nocturne gank, or maybe even Galio coming for a visit. We wondered about the Rise Aatrox when it came to where to lane them. See if Summit can come back, because it's been his good laning that's been his trademark so far in LCK Spring. Different class of opposition, so the results may vary.
Yeah, absolutely. Able to waddle his way back up there, though. Should be able to farm out some more minions, and
he's got 700 health, so, you know, if anything hits from Victor, Nocturne can do the rest. Very nicely done, and the communication between lanes with Clid. Great interview from Clid talking about how Faker needed to incorporate Clid's playstyle more if SKT was going to succeed as this Anointed Dream Team lineup, seeing him play around Khan as well. Khan and Peanut had great times in spring, not so great times in summer, but the good times rolling for SKT so far.
Absolutely. Only a first blood to go down, though, and that is only going to be about 300 gold the difference. So still opportunities for Sandbox to fire back, and Joker is out of his lane. He's got the Mobies. He's run around to try and get things done. So far, not actually finding anything. Just going to head back down towards the bottom side where Ghost is struggling a little bit against Marta and Teddy.
You're going to ask me, Atlas, the fateful question of, all right, farming early game, not too much of a gold lead. Who does it suit more? I definitely feel like Ezreal hitting his items, and if you can get out of lane to mid lane especially, Ezreal Tahm Kench is a boilerplate point we've talked about so many times. I think that's a power spike, almost impossible for Sandbox to take over with all the globals to respect. Speaking of globals, Clid's here.
Yep, Joker going to turn back up again, and Onfleek has been in basically the right place when it comes to the bottom lane almost all game. It's Ghost and Joker just clear up this minion wave that's hitting their turret, and once again, no joy for either jungler. True Shot Barrage going to land onto Joker, who takes actually a lot of damage with the follow-up EQ.
Just Ezreal things. Teddy mainlining the Iceborne Gauntlet, so no tier in the build just yet. You know what? 2 of them will come out, but more interested about showing respect from one of the most fearsome duo lanes of meta's past in Kalista Thresh.
Yeah, and also being able to slow down a Kalista is definitely good news. Allows you to lock her up much easier. Can't just hop, skip around.
Speaking of hop skipping, some Goomba Stomps are possible. They know the Sandbox are on this Rift Herald.
Yep, Paranoia available here as well. Sunfleek wants to be able to grab this one. Good knockups here from Dub. Wants to just one combo cleared. Oh, just about gets the auto, but doesn't quite get in there. Abyssal Voyage, Marta wants to help him. It's cleared. Just baits Dub all the way in. Gravity Field's going to be there. Perfect Hex Core allows for the displacement, but now down to half health, and he gets taunted. Teddy picks up the kill, and Faker combos into Summit at the same time. Chaos Storm ticking down. Joker trying to hook Summit out of it, but can't. Flashes into the Death Ray, and it's named so well as he picks up another kill.
Dove so greedy on the chase to pick up the low health Nocturne, didn't respect the stopwatches up, and the bait is fantastic on the side of SKT. Well-deserved kills. And one of those rookie mistakes we expected for Sandbox Gaming.
Yep, getting a little bit overexcited, and there's no excuse for that. Dove must have known.
The problem I have with plays like this, Atlas, is you DPS the enemy jungler out, you wasted his Nocturne ultimate, and you got the Rift Herald. Did you really need the kill? He keeps moving forward and flashes when the Tahm Kench is going to be there. So I feel like a trade kill is kind of the best case scenario, which you don't need. Dove had so many good options to take. I think he took the wrong one, and the Lantern being a little bit off condemns Summit to the same fate.
Exactly. He tries to hook him. At least it looks like he tries to hook him. That is, of course, not going to work, and that is going to be the end of a couple of players for Sandbox in that skirmish. Moving their bottom lane here to the mid lane. Faker should be able to defend this one relatively easily, and Marta now hanging out with Cleared. All of that global advantage that they have certainly still available. Paranoia is still there as On Fleek. Has to get the hell out of dodge. Lantern available, but On Fleek doesn't need to take it as Joker's going to save his jungler.
Feeling good about the stopwatch over Future's Market, I'm going to say, for Cleared in this game.
Oh, damn right.
Marta walks up. They're going to start clearing out some vision. Ultra squishy Rise. No Seraph's Embrace shield, no health, no chance. Even with the stopwatch, you would imagine Tahm Kench is there to help the tanking. So, not really a good lane assignment for Summit. Versus two people, going to get poked out easily. In side lanes, if Galio ult is up, which we know it is, going to be Goomba stomped quickly. Yep. So rotating around Summit feels like when you rotate around Anasis, who's focused on farming and solo queue, while every objective falls around him. There's a chance Rise never gets his core done before this game is too far gone for the side of Sandbox Gaming.
He's going to pick up a free minion wave here on the bottom side of the map, though, as Khan no longer there, just getting some vision up the river for the moment. This triple global comp certainly working, and SKT have actually sort of made it their thing to take down comps like this. They had a lot of finesse, split push style compositions in the earlier days, and it was all about playing around a lot of the Gallios that they've been seeing come up against them. Now it looks like when they're the ones wielding all of the extra globals, know exactly what to do as well, as we knew from games past.
Yeah, this just in. SKT can play Galio comps. It's all they could play.
Yeah.
In 2018, and when push came to shove, it wasn't enough Atlas, so we've seen enough other styles, for example, the Fiora, that's given us a lot more confidence about SKT's ability to play with different styles. We get the fancy little movement there on the camera to show that Nocturne is lying in wait, and he's coming back again.
Yep, Khan does have the gravity field, though, so he's going to be able to get rid of the control ward. Rest of his team going to be taking down this Ocean Drake. Probably would have liked a slightly better one, as
Rift Herald could have been placed down earlier to actually force SKT out of position. Now, Olaf's still able to do that. He's a power-farmed Viking, about 6 camps ahead of the enemy. When will we see the channel on that Rift Herald? It's apparently blue buff, the first objective.
Well, Undertow is going to land onto Clid, who has to use the Paranoia mostly to get out as the hero's entrance is going to come in. No knockups, but at least Clid is going to be alive as Khan's going to get the first rotation. Summit making his way over as well, and Infernal Chains do not land. Dove still has the ultimate if he wants to. Blast Cone to safety, but they don't steal away the blue buff.
They flattered to deceive a little bit Atlas because Callista, Thresh don't have an Abyssal Voyage to join. It would have been an outnumber there. Wow. Speaking of outnumbered, health bar outnumbered for Ghost.
Yep, and that damage, I'm still not used to it, Smithy.
Oh, it gets worse, as you know.
Yeah, just crazy.
I didn't see any Ezreal changes on 9.2. I'm going to be honest, a little bit tilted about that.
Working as intended, absolutely.
They just need to change the interaction with Q cooldown reduction and ult. Whether it's ult damage or the Q cooldown reduction going down, you can't do 800 health in an AoE from safety every 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think that's probably a not good. That's a thing in the not good column. Having said, Teddy utilizing it quite nicely so far. Only 5 CS in the lead, but is going to be able to pick up those core 2 items. Heading towards the Bilgewater Cutlass, we'll see whether it is going to be a Gunblade or whether the Blade of the Ruined King comes in. We know that Teddy likes to be flexible with both of those options. Blade is done for Ghost, still looking for the Hurricane in order to finish that spike.
They're not showing it, they're not waving the Wi-Fi, but this game is really about Summit and Ghost getting another item, and that Seraph's Embrace transformation. Neither of them a team fight, right? They need Hurricane. They desperately need some more tankiness, but they're going to try something mid lane anyway.
Yeah, Devour is going to come in.
Oh.
Joker gets a beautiful play! And the Catfish is going to go down. True Shot Barrage is going to hit on Fleek, but I have a feeling he doesn't care, as this tower should get taken down for first turret blood over to Sandbox.
And that was sleek from Joker. He hits the hook again, but it's going to be under turret. They'll take the objective here. Nice little movement there. They gave up on a lot of side lanes to make that play happen, and how about a fallback Ocean Drake as well for Sandbox?
Yep, should be able to get it as Onfleek's going to come over with the powered up attack speed, given his low health bar. Really nice to get some momentum back, and I just feel Joker is so good in the clutch. This guy often makes some mistakes, some weird hooks in lane, things like that, but when push comes to shove, he is there with plays like that to pick up the kills that they need for Sandbox.
One of my favorite Monty Doa sayings was about Crash when he was the jungler of Longzhu Gaming. They always talked about he was the best worst jungler or the worst best jungler. And maybe Joker is the best worst Thresh player because he's actually able to be super clutch here. He doesn't need flash because they have the Fate's Call available. The Flay is massive there, and when he's on, he's really on. So nicely done by Joker there. Sort of play that SKT did not see coming.
Obviously, so that tower falls in the mid lane, means that map is so much more open. You can see the trifecta of wards in the mid lane. Or the Trinity, sorry. Trifecta means they came in first, second, and third, which I don't think makes too much sense when it comes to wards.
How about a Quinella? Is that how you pronounce that word? When, like, all 4 of your horses win, I think that's the one.
Oh, I don't know.
Not to be mistaken with Cronulla. That's a place.
Yeah, I know. Cronulla sounds like a place I go
I think
past
I screwed up the word, but I just wanted to say it out loud. One of those words I've read a lot but never said.
Yeah, I remember.
Do you have one of those?
I remember the one for 5, the quintuplet, but that's actually just, you know, if you have 5 kids.
Well, how about
quintuplets?
2 people more down bot lane?
Yeah, triplets, in fact. As Teddy just going to set up shop, try and take down this turret. Doesn't look like there's anything Sandbox can do. They're pinging desperately to try and get something from this, but can't find anywhere to actually fire back against SKT, and they'll take the objective for free. Feels like their MO so far in the LCK. It's take more than they're going to give away.
But it feels like SKT got maybe more than they deserve with the comp, because Olaf couldn't find too many members in the early game. But they couldn't close out the game. It felt like they could have been a smothering about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And the positive mid lane play has allowed a lot of farming time for Ghost. I think he will have Hurricane on his next back. He's been sitting on items for a long time. Click can only all in here, and Tom Kench has Abyssal Voyage on cooldown. Faker keeps the turret up, but Sandbox Gaming not rolling over against the SKT Dream Team.
Yeah, you can see Faker actually getting a lot of respect here from Sandbox, not wanting to dive even with 4 people available. I do like it, though, respecting the amount of threat there is globally. As finally, they'll get in there. Okay, World Ender is going to be tanking this one up, but Faker flashes out of the way of the last hit. And is he going to have it? He is. So Faker going to fall down to the Ignite. Dove should follow up here as Khan has a lot of damage left remaining. True Shot Barrage is only going to clip on Fleek, who's got a lot of health, and is going to be okay. 1 for 1 in the end.
And this time they play around the Abyssal Voyage. They can't be outnumbered as easily, and they do trade 1 for 1. Now, if they can get the turret as well, that'll be the objective needed there. A lot of reinforcements, but no reinforcement necessary at the end. It was going to be an even trade as Ghost comes back to wave clear and probably should respect Teddy.
Yep. And Marta is going to gobble him up once again. That interaction demonstrated basically off cooldown, because if Joker hits one, it's just devour, devour, devour. See this one again, Papa?
This is definitely, when you look at the champions, you're like, oh, this turret dive is pretty reliable. Aatrox can tank the turret. Olaf doesn't get CC'd, and little Faker can do. Dove going far again, though. He really wants to kill Faker. Maybe he told his brother or his girlfriend that he would kill Faker in this series, and you know what? He has.
Yep.
They back away, though, no objectives, so we kind of have to leave it up in the air as to whether it was worth.
Yep, double teleports, double flashes coming in at the end of that one as well, meaning that SKT getting a little bit more, and some deviation here from Ghost. Goes back and just buys a full Guardian Angel instead of finishing off the Hurricane. He does not want to get instantly killed by the Paranoia, and maybe this is what Sandbox had to answer that Paranoia threat onto Ghost's carry.
Waiting for the next Wombo. Always about those Wombo combos. Paranoia almost off cooldown. Speaking of Wombo combos.
No, Joker caught out, but thankfully there's a Fate's Call.
This is definitely the high blood pressure game for people who think action is coming. As a play-by-play caster, you're going to be edging towards these team fights ready to go, but not be able to shout Atlas. So that's one of the troll cooldowns used. They're still going to have the Lantern, and of course, Teddy and Mata, they're slippery on their own.
Yep, the Devour on the other side to troll me for SKT. So everyone going to be making things difficult.
At least Olaf's pretty honest. You can't stop him, but he only goes one way.
That's true, that's true. Oh, goodness me. Is this Sandbox? Yes, it is. Therefore, the Baron going to be started 22 minutes on Fleek. In trouble. True Shot Barrage going to get, yep, taken down. There is no smite in this Baron pit, and Faker is going to find Sandbox. Not entirely sure what that play was, but Paranoia now going to join Faker, and this is what can happen. You have to respect the globals if you're against this SKT composition. Okay, Hook is going to land. Marta may be a little bit overextended, but Khan comes in, and this flank is so deadly. Joker's going to die first, and now SKT looking for more.
We don't get to see the notebook from Coma today, but I'm sure the note for Sandbox Gaming's first series was, damn, do they like Baron a lot.
Yep.
All them throwing their faces into Baron and slowly getting it. Cost Sandbox a lot of time in that series. No Baron coming here. Everyone knows about the Kalista threat. Speaking of Kalista, trying to clean up a little bit, but plenty of damage on Khan, Teddy, and friends.
Yeah, stopping some backs here, though, so maybe Sandbox can get some tempo back from this, given the fact that On Fleek now back on the map. Mountain Drake looks to be the option here, and they are going to get something as we have a look at this one yet again, and On Fleek just straight up dying through the ultimate, through everything, too much burst available. And then the jig is up as Faker spots them out at the Baron.
Don't have the wave clear in mid to pull off a play like that with any level of reliability. If you've got a Victor of your own mid lane, the moment Olaf's wave clearing, something's up. The jig is up. Faker goes to check. Here are the follow kills. It's because on the minimap you can see Khan and the rest of SKT are backing up. They know they're going to get at least one kill. It's not two, but they'll take what's richly deserved, the extra gold, onto the side of Teddy.
Yeah, exactly. And the Baron was pinged at the end of that one, deciding against it and then getting a little bit routed.
Ghost hasn't been able to find a Hurricane in the build. This is the adaptation Ghost is taking to not repeat what Gango went through.
Yes.
Against Nocturne combo drafts last week when KT Rolster lost. With the Kalista, he has gone for second item GA, which does mean he's fiercely single target. And even with the GA, kind of your best case scenario is that Nocturne only damages you. So you are swapping the potential mid-game power spike of the Kalista, but just buying a bit of space and time.
Oh my goodness. Well, not getting a lot of space from Teddy here as Paranoia comes in once again. And it's in fact Dove that could be in trouble. The Fear's going to come in. The World Ender feeling like it's not exactly named correctly at this point because he is just straight up dead. Clid picks up that kill easily. 2-0 and 2 now, I believe, for the Nocturne.
Welcome to a Global Draft. Playing from ahead in the mid-game, Atlas. Press all your buttons. No counterplay available. Dove will die. Anyone sidelining that like that will die. And SKT able to do it in bloodless fashion. They'll get an inner turret and maybe even more.
Well, On Fleek doesn't want to let it go without a fight. Khan, a little bit out of position here, doesn't have teleport, so 4 members of SKT are around, but 20 seconds still on Dove, meaning that you can't get a man advantage against this squad at this point in time, given the pick availability that SKT just capitalized on. So Summit going to take a Death Ray, and On Fleek just can't find a way in as Joker could potentially be caught out here as the Iceborne Gauntlet needs to be respected from Teddy because he can just jump on top of anyone at any point.
And On Fleek's build is a solo queue build or a snowballing build. He's gone Black Cleaver, which pretty normal in solo queue, but from behind will not be able to buy time against Teddy for as long as you might want. And because they didn't get many kills in the mid game, may not be able to fill much of a role in the next team fight. So some problem solving required. Guess what? The answer's Baron.
5 members once again on top of it. Paranoia just comes back off cooldown. And
50-50,
it's
baby.
taking a lot of damage, exactly right. This will actually go down as Clid gets into the pit. It's Teddy! No, it's not! The Baron taken down. On Fleek is going to die as Ghost desperately trying to get out of here. Dove is going to survive. Joker's going to be there, so they will have some Barons left. But is it worth it to lose 3 people for it? I'm not entirely sure.
2 maybe, 3 no, and it was just the most telegraphed play. Reminds me of MVP in seasons past where they were just about the 50-50. Speaking of 50-50, how about a 4th kill on top as Teddy? He's no slouch in the damage department.
Yep, hanging out between turrets. Just comfortably able to work out the ranges very nicely there. As, yeah, Joker and Dove, they do have a Baron buff around them, but they're losing the majority of their base and any semblance of map control.
Negative Baron buff power play. In case you guys watched OGN, you'd know that the numbers we showed was just purely gold earned. Now we actually have relative gold, so including the Baron gold, well, SKT have more gold after that Baron play.
And it's to the tune of quite a lot as well. 1,200 as we have a look at this one yet again.
Let's watch the ordering here, because I was wondering with the nerfed Rend when you smite and when Olaf actually dead before he could smite, and just the Rend comes through, so Clid too early, and a Rend comes in. It could have even been similar timing, right?
Yeah.
On that particular play. So if you think about the prisoner dilemma, if you think about high risk, low reward and things like that, it was super high risk of just straight up losing the game if you also lose Baron. But I guess maybe if we're being glass half full, a medium reward because it was only ever going to be on a couple of members. Tells you that perhaps the shot call is off, but maybe they look at the game, say they made too many mistakes in early game. That was the most they could hope for. Is here comes Nocturne.
Yep, Dove is not hoping for very much here, as World Ender is at least going to keep him alive for a little bit longer as Summit tries to get in amongst it, but it looks like SKT have God mode on. They just don't take damage as Chaos Storm does exactly the opposite. Summit now with half health, gets himself a shield, but he is going to die. Cliff gets on top of him. Hero's entrance just to create a party as Joker's going to be the next one on the chopping block. Teddy was taken out as now Ghost looking for a little bit more. That there is still damage availability. As you can see, Khan is so incredibly strong. Clid's got a GA, and Ghost now just trying to run for his life.
Let's see if the Yakety Sax can at least buy time for Sandbox. Stop waves from being pushed in and the base broken. Faker wants to say no.
Yep, Justice Punch is going to come in, and Proto Belt's going to be there, so Dash Cannon to try and get him away. Ghost just trying to hop his way out as the taunt not going to get there. Now trying to turn this one around, but the burst damage from Khan should be enough to get there, and it is. But man, that was almost too close for SKT fans.
And yet, still calculated overall because Stopwatch available. Stopwatch used, no kill threat onto Faker. And I watch the replay here. Dove pops the ult very, very early. They actually kite it out and kill him, so he dies just as the ult coming through. He's already into the kneeling phase, and Summer's not a frontliner. He's been too squishy this whole game to occupy any time. And like you say, the God mode is just because SKT says, don't really care about the enemy. I just want some kills.
Yep, the hook onto Teddy was really nice. I was watching Summit at this stage just getting taken out on the top side, and SKT, the unit still there despite losing out on their AD carry.
Mountain Drake going to be the first for SKT. They don't want to go blank on any objective. I realized the joke I made there. Oops.
That was a cute one.
Wasn't on purpose. We return to the game, though. I think Sandbox have kind of one more roll of the dice. It's an all-in roll. It's double or nothing, Atlas.
Well, I mean, what do they like? They like making double or nothing plays, and they'll probably make one of those in about 3 or so minutes' time. That Baron is going to be coming back up. Just to check in on some items, we've got a pretty sweet book coming in for Faker as the Maji's Soul Stealer on top of the double penetration. He's got a lot of gold now as well, but still actually behind Dove, who's been farming a hell of a lot, despite the fact that he's died 4 times so far this game.
040141 lets you know that whenever they've tried to get greedy for farm, the farms come in, but hasn't actually been a lead because kills are going the way of SKT. Moment you play 1-3-1 and Nocturne's ahead, the 1-3-1 falls apart pretty fast, Atlas.
Yep.
But like you say, well, you know, Sandbox's Baron is up in a minute 50. They're going to give it a go.
Here we go. Well, base isn't broken also, and because they went YOLO for the Baron, they were able to stop SKT from actually picking that one up, which has slowed them down. As far as getting in there, Teddy is around this point, though, and they will have so much topside vision. Bottom side vision is great for Sandbox, but what is that exactly giving you? As the Ocean Drake is going to be spawning in 4 minutes' time, and that is what having bottom side vision is for. So not exactly the highest bounty to be claimed from that one, but Hurricane's now done for Ghost. He should be able to at least dart a little bit more effectively around these fights and stack that Rend more nicely as Dove, once again, just in trouble. True Shot Barrage, not going to land. At least the Umbral Dash is going to be able to get Dove out of death range, but man, he almost had to pop the ultimate because Ezreal was going to solo it.
Yep, I'm wincing about that Ezreal damage. As SKT, now they know that Sandbox is going to be pretty far behind in terms of wards when it comes to this Baron, which spawns in 50 seconds. And to your point about hopping mad Kalista potentially salvaging something, the problem is Galio and Victor press their W buttons, and that's kind of most of a choke that Kalista can't bounce through. And while Ryze, Olaf, Aatrox all have different ways to put some threat onto the backline, I feel like Ezreal is going to be putting out a lot more reliable damage than Kalista with all that zone control, and that's not even incorporating something like Paranoia. So, in effect, I don't see too many team fights that can be won by Sandbox. So all we can do is inspect how they approach the Baron, which is their last bastion of hope.
Absolutely. Feels like they live and die by the Baron. 8 seconds now to go before that one is back off cooldown. It's respawned, if you will, as Abyssal Voyage going to get Marta into this mid lane. Still playing like the Abyssal Voyage has been changed as the hook is going to land onto Teddy somehow. Devour going to be in there, but the Flay is back. Coming out onto Mata. Fate's Call is going to be used not for the CC as the first kill is going to be onto the GA of the Nocturne, and Joker is still alive. But look at these health bars. They are limping out of this fight, and Ghost is going to be the first one to go down. That damage potential certainly not going to be there as Ghost spots Teddy. Just gives him that double kill, and SKT should be able to at least break open the base, if not grab themselves a Baron.
And try the finish maybe even here as well with a Mountain Drake. Not going to take that brush. That would have been Ching for Khan, but here's someone else.
Oh,
to check the brush. Ezreal does it even safer. Let's see if they can end the game here, SK Telecom T1. Everything is in their favor.
Yep, the inhibitor going to go down. It looks like they're not stopping. Summit, can you actually kill these minions in time, or can you actually keep yourself alive? The answer looks to be either no or no, as he tries to defend. I don't think he's going to be able to, though, as the Nexus turrets have already bitten the dust. Khan flashes forward. The stopwatch is going to be there, but that's a taunt, and that's exactly what SKT are doing as the game is over.
The Faker Global taunt finally got Dove a kill. He's got that story to tell. But when it comes to the bigger story, the bigger picture, SK Telecom T1 just had more ideas. They were cleaner, and Sandbox Gaming, they didn't roll over and die, and to that I give them credit. But unfortunately, when push came to shove, when Ezreal had 3 items, there was really only one horse in the race. It was well won by SK Telecom T1. They returned to the Galio comp. We know they can play the Urgot. They know they can play the Fiora carry top lane. And now they go back to the 2018 bread and butter. They pilot that pretty well as well.
Yep, and it's a little bit weird that Sandbox decided to give over the Nocturne after first rounding the Kalista. We were wondering whether they had answers for it. We thought the draft was cute. I liked the champions that they picked up, but just the amount of answers that SKT had for everything Sandbox were trying to do was just overwhelming.
And when the answer is, we can build Guardian Angel second on the Kalista, I think you got bigger problems. Yeah. You need the Hurricane. You need 2-item Kalista to be that big factor it's been in previous Kalista metas. Instead, they had a Kalista that couldn't get anywhere or do much damage, and everything else. On Fleek had some good moments, got the first blood for his team on the blue side, but Clid kind of played around the Olaf's invades a lot cleaner than we saw, for example, Score, who was undone by an enemy jungler when King KT played their first series. So, again, not a wholesale throw out the game from the side of Sandbox, but you do see the greatest hits of things that didn't really work, and it didn't feel like a 4-0 team versus 4-0 team when the Nexus exploded.
Yeah, the thing that I really did like from Sandbox, I guess, as far as moving into the second game is concerned, is that there are clear moments in that game where they made mistakes.
Yep.
That overreach coming out from Dove was really what sort of sealed it and allowed SKT to continue pushing that one forward. They got the cute little pick in the mid lane, but then once again, mistakes were made, Dove out of position, things like this. If they just tidy up these little things, we could have a game on our hands for game number 2. But Teddy, 30k damage, definitely a lot.
Yeah, Teddy's Ezreal still pushing my buttons when it comes to the big damage Ezreal. Nice stuff from Teddy.
More than triple the damage.
Just doing his job. This wasn't a Teddy hard carry game, and yet it was all about Teddy. Good words to be hearing about SK Telecom T1.
Exactly, and this is what we wanted to see moving into our next matches as well. But ladies and gentlemen, there is still a game in this series. We'll see if Sandbox can fight back, or whether SKT, like Griffin, are going to be way too damn strong. We'll see you after the break.